When will the recovery really start?
Well, already we see signs that the recession is ending, and very likely growth should return later on this year. But the recovery will be weak, and we'll probably see low numbers for the next couple of years. However, growth could be stronger, especially if the government were to continue with its reforms and if there would be more support from the rest of Europe.
Don't you think if the government already bailed out the banks, that the government should put pressure on the banks to extend credit to its people?
Well, definitely, credit conditions are too tight today, both for businesses and for households. And this is a real constraint on growth, and we're concerned about this. Now, that doesn't mean that governments need to force banks to lend, but the government could very much encourage banks to lend. Forcing lending would just result in more losses and more costs for the taxpayer, which is what we want to avoid. But you can encourage banks to lend in a variety of ways. For example, you can restrict dividends so the money stays in the bank and can be lent.
What's the best way to reduce youth unemployment?
Unemployment amongst young people in Spain is very high, and it's a tragedy for many reasons, on a personal basis, on a social basis, but also from an economic basis. It's terribly costly, and it's something that we're very concerned about. And even when young people do get a job, it tends to be a temporary job, not a permanent job. So what can be done? Well, it's a complex issue, but a number of things could be done. First of all, they could be better trained and given more help to find work. Secondly, all those taxes and regulations that makes it very burdensome to hire young people can be reduced. And thirdly, a better balance can be struck between those with well-protected permanent jobs and those with less well-protected temporary jobs. A fairer balance could perhaps be struck.
Why isn't there more help for entrepreneurs to reduce unemployment?
Absolutely. Entrepreneurs are the future of employment and growth in Spain. Anything we can do to help entrepreneurship and enterprises should be done. And one of the things we're hearing when we speak to entrepreneurs, when we speak to businesses, and indeed when we speak to banks, is that the cost of credit for these small and medium enterprises is very high. And in particular, it's much higher than similar firms in, say, Germany or, say, France. So one of the things that could be done both by Spain, but especially by the euro area, is to have a more level playing field between firms in Spain and firms elsewhere in the euro area.
I wonder if increasing taxes, like you recommend, will really create more consumption so that people go out more.
Well, tax rates in Spain are quite high, but tax collection is quite low. And this is because there are lots of special treatments, exemptions, and this is not only bad economics, it's also unfair for those people who actually have to pay these high rates. So what we want is more tax collection, not necessarily higher tax rates.